What in the world are you guys watching?
Hockey.
Hockey.
Yep.
I'll show you something better than hockey.
Hello, welcome to CVM News. I'm William Schmileski.
And I'm Cassie Harnett.
In world news, 4 Israelis were killed and several injured as 2 men armed with a pistol and meat cleavers attacked a West Jerusalem synagogue. After the attack, the 2 attackers were shot dead and had their homes destroyed by the Israeli government. Prior to the attack, Jerusalem has seen weeks of unrest, partly fueled by the tension over the disputed holy site. 3 of the victims were dual Israeli-U.S. nationals, while the 4th was a dual Israeli-U.K. citizen. The funerals of all 4 men were held in Jerusalem, with thousands in attendance. Earlier this week, Tokyo, Japan released a widely anticipated whaling research program in the Antarctic. This new whaling research program sets a target of capturing 333 whales annually as part of a 12-year research effort. This effort is to achieve conservation of the Antarctic marine life ecosystem, while pursuing the sustainability plan as well. This program also serves to understand and predict the effects of climate change. Conservation organizations immediately denounced the new plan, even though Tokyo announced today that they are emphasizing on non-lethal research. However, this is leaving many environmental conservationists in deep concern.
Winter came a month early a few days ago to the state of New York, thanks to a massive lake-effect snowstorm that dumped about 3 feet of snow. Just south of Buffalo, some towns like Lancaster got 4 feet of snow. Road closures were reported all over the area, including a 105-mile stretch of the New York Thruway, which left hundreds of drivers stranded on the highway. Town officials south of Buffalo declared a state of emergency because of nearly impossible driving conditions in the area. Since the inception of Vermont's new cell phone ban on October 1st, which prohibits people from using them while driving except for hands-free use, has racked in some serious money. Violations of the law can lead to a fine of $100 to $200 for a first offense and up to $500 for a second, according to an article from Vermont Public Radio's website. Critics of the law said it would be difficult for police to enforce it because they would have to be able to see in someone's car while noticeably holding a cell phone. Under the law, Vermont police have written over 100 tickets, 101 of them in October. Violators of the law aren't required to pay their fine immediately, so up-to-date statistics may be continually pending.
A Rutland man who voluntarily put himself in quarantine was released Monday with no symptoms associated with the Ebola virus. Peter Italia, 61 of Rutland, was held at an undisclosed location in Rutland County for 21 days after his return from a month-long trip to Ebola-infested areas of West Africa. During the trip, Italia identified himself to people he met as a doctor, although state health officials say he is not certified to practice medicine in Vermont. Italia, who has said he has been trying to find work in hospitals without success, said he was bitter that state officials have not recognized the medical degree he has earned in the Dominican Republic or the work in hospitals he did during the 1980s and 1990s. Italia was the first person in Vermont to be placed under quarantine after returning from West Africa, but it is said that he is far from the first Vermonter who has been observed by the health department after returning from trips to Africa. In other news, Castleton's theater department put on Macbeth earlier this week. Here's Matt and Mike with more on the performance.
On a brisk Sunday afternoon, students, friends, and family gathered in Casella Theater to enjoy Castleton's performance of Shakespeare's Macbeth. As the theater began to fill up, we interviewed Sarah LaFleche about her experiences with the show.
I had originally picked the play out at the beginning of the semester, but because of all the shows that were going on, we only had about a month as a collective department to work on the show. I think so. I think it's a pretty good show. It's really interesting. But I like theater, so I can't speak for everybody, but I think that they will enjoy it. Well, it's done by students that go to Castleton. You don't have to travel anywhere. If you live on campus, you can walk. Ticket prices aren't that bad. They're really actually very cheap for a theater. We're kind of like a big family. Everybody, we're a little bit discombobulated family, but everybody really cares about everybody and how they're doing, and it's just a lot of fun.
This has been Matt and Mike, CSC News, Castleton.
An official ruling has been set on Minnesota Vikings and NFL star running back Adrian Peterson. Peterson will be suspended without pay for at least the remainder of the NFL season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Peterson was indicted in September on a felony charge of injury to a child for using a wooden switch to discipline his 4-year-old son earlier this year. Peterson's team, the Vikings, responded in favor of the league's decision and had no further comments. Peterson has already decided to appeal his ban for the remainder of the season. Mark your calendars because the first official trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens will be released in 4 to 5 weeks. Star Wars Episode 7 was announced when the Walt Disney Company bought Lucasfilms in 2012 for $4 billion. It will be the first film of the trilogy. It is set to take place 30 years after the Return of the Jedi. Stars such as Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher of the original trilogy are to be included as well. Star Wars wrapped up principal photography earlier this month and is now deep in post-production. Although no details have been released regarding the film, Anthony Daniels, the man inside C-3PO, has made comments on how great the film will be. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, is expected to premiere December 18, 2015.
One famous family always seems to be in the spotlight, and that would be the Kardashians. 3 of the sisters are in the headlines this week. Kourtney is expecting her 3rd child with boyfriend Scott Disick and had her baby shower at IHOP. The party was planned by close friends and was pajama party themed. She sported red loungewear and matching fuzzy devil horns. Kim did a photo shoot with Paper Magazine and broke the internet by posing nude, which has caused an uproar around the country. And last but not least, 18-year-old Kendall has landed her first cosmetic contract with Estée Lauder, and more can be found on the website's and Facebook page. On Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m., you will be able to see the Vermont Collegiate Choral Consortium perform at the Casella Theater. This will be a collaboration of many different voices that have come together to bring you a vocal performance you won't forget. Tickets can be picked up at the Casella Theater box office. Tickets are $5 for adults and $3 for seniors.
For CVM News, I'm Cassie Harnett.
And I'm William Shimoleski.
Thanks for watching.
I'm Devin Clark, and we're asking Castleton State College students what their favorite part of Thanksgiving is and why.
My favorite part of Thanksgiving is being around family because you don't get to see them that often all the time, and you get to spend a lot of time with them and eat food.
The food, because it's delicious and my mom always makes it.
Favorite part about Thanksgiving is being able to share a holiday with most of my family because you're supposed to celebrate thanks, I guess.
Is your favorite part of Thanksgiving and why?
My favorite part of Thanksgiving would probably be the food and spending time with family. I have a brother that lives down in Maryland. I don't get to see him a lot, and this is one time of the year that he comes up. And so, plus the food's good. Probably eat more than I should, but I enjoy it all. It's a nice time, as I said, to spend time with the family, and yeah.
Well, some of my favorites is the food, of course. I love going home and having a huge meal, and the other part is definitely with my family. But, I get to share the meal with them, so that's really what makes everything the best.
I definitely enjoy the cornucopia of delicious treats put together by some of my wonderful family members, as well as tossing the pigskin around the backyard with my brother.
It definitely have to be the Thanksgiving meal because of all the food that you get to eat and mow down on and then regret later.
Definitely the football, just because I love football.
Is your favorite part of Thanksgiving and why?
Mine is I get to see my little cousins. I don't get to see them that often, and I get to see them then and hang out with them and catch up. They're really cool.
The meal part, because I need to eat, I like to eat, and there's always a lot of it. So,
my favorite part of Thanksgiving is taking the time to be with my family and being at the table with them and talking and catching up with everyone I haven't seen in a while.
Your favorite part of Thanksgiving and why?
My favorite part of Thanksgiving is actually getting to watch my mom get drunk and then talk about the other family members that are around the table, because it is hilarious. So yeah, that and mashed potatoes. Pretty much it.
Devin Clark, CSE News, Castleton.
Without a doubt. Those are two of the main big parts of my life. So I like to do what I can to redo it.
Oh, go.
I know about the rail trail are that it stretches from Castleton to Pulteney. It's supposed to be a biking trail / walking trail. The other thing that I know is that it is haunted. There are two ghost stories. I'm more familiar with one. One is I've heard that there are ghosts of children there. That's one I'm not very familiar with. The one I'm familiar with is the wraith. A wraith comes out around the sunset time. It is, as I've been told, I haven't seen it. It is basically a black square. The best to describe it, it is just a space of black that is darker than the night around it. It is easily distinguishable. They're very territorial. Sometimes they usually don't have eyes or faces, but sometimes they do, from what I've been told, and they're usually red.
My name is Peter Vaughn, and today I'll be teaching you how to put together your freestyle scooter. First things first, let me introduce you to the parts and tools that we'll be using today. You're going to need a pair of vice grips, pliers, and size 5 and 7 Allen wrenches. As far as your parts, you're going to need the deck, the bars, the fork, the wheels, and the compression system. First, you're going to slide the fork through the head tube of the deck. Then put the spacer on. Next comes the compression system, which just slides right over the forks. Tighten the bolt as much as you can while still allowing the fork to spin smoothly. Next, you're going to throw the bars on and make sure that they're not crooked, and start tightening the bolts on the compression system. The last thing to do is to put the wheels on. So slide it in between the fork, run the bolt through, then tighten the bolts with the pliers and the vice grips. And finally, the back wheel, which is similar to the front wheel but requires a spacer on both sides of the wheel. Tighten it up and you're good to go. That's pretty much all there is to it. Thank you for watching.
So basically last year I started off good, and then it slipped away from me. And later on in the year I was told by two of the coaches that I don't have it physically and mentally to play college football. And then I came into this year with the mindset of that I have something to prove, and just knowing that it was a new coach, new start, and I thought I was going to get my chance, and I did. Well, now I pretty much just play intramural floor hockey and enjoy my time off for now, and then I'm going to start hitting the weight room again, hopefully playing some bowl games come springtime, and then I graduate. "10 years from now, I hopefully see myself as becoming a teacher at the middle school to high school level, and then hopefully becoming a assistant principal, and then hopefully a principal at high school or elementary school or somewhere." Really, when I'm outside of football, I don't really do much because football takes so much. Football, I always say, is like a full-time job in college. You put in hours on hours and you just don't get paid. So when you're not in football, you're in the library doing work and catching up on it, or you're home just enjoying your downtime before you gotta be back for the next day and the next practice. Um, 4 years playing here, I would have to say slow start to a medium start to a finishing with a great career. In my mind, even though I only played one full season as a starter, I thought I had a tremendous career.
Hey guys, we're in East Montpelier right now, and it's about 35 degrees, a little chilly out. I haven't seen anything yet. Got a little bit of snow going on, so saw some runs, saw some betting. Hopefully we'll see something. 10 o'clock, haven't seen anything yet. Still gonna wait. Still nothing. Here's a few tips to point out. Remember to always wear orange, including a vest and a hat so you won't get shot at. Also make sure that your rifle is on safety. Well, it looks like it's the end of the day right now. Probably be back at it next week. Probably post another video. Probably not for the video mag, but probably be on youtube.com/thewiki. But until then, good luck to all the hunters out there, and don't shoot your leg off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Now we wait for another 2 weeks. I'm gonna go eat.